we're gonna take a break for now. We're taking a small break, just because I would like to eat food. I'm hungry. I am hungry right now. So I'm gonna shut the audio off there too. All right. Today's food of goodness. Oh, the deliciousness. Oh, it's a good one today. Oh shit, lot of water. Lot of steamy water. Good thing I got napkins. Probably should have put down a thing. All right, but today's oh so good food. Again from the Asian place in my dorm, or not my dorm, my university's cafeteria. We have chicken. Oh shit, chicken lo mein with rice, baby. We always gotta have the rice. I'm gonna need to get a washcloth to fucking mop up all this shit. Yeah, and today for some reason it was paper and plastic day. I don't know. So I guess something must have been wrong with the fucking thing. What's it called? Dishwasher area. Because they went and they got they got completely different chopsticks than normal. These are gonna be nice quality chopsticks where they're not really stuck together, or they are stuck together, but they're a little thicker. I mean, they're like at least 2 C's thicker. Oh, look at that. Nice clean break. Let's get a first bite. Oh, yeah. Delicious. Delicious. See, taking a very quick food break. I have not eaten since like 4, so I'm starving. Sorry, I was like I'm about to fucking cry. It's been so long since I've gotten to eat some food. I'm so hungry. Smacking down. It tastes very good. It tastes very good. If you aren't eating right now and you're hungry, go get some shit to eat. Drink water. All right. You know what? Since I am on a small break, I only played for like 30 minutes. We're gonna change this to just chatting, and for viewer experience, let me see if I can find a cool video to react to. Maybe like a really quick theory video. Let's see here. Oh, Sidemen Tinder, Jesus. Do. How many people are on Earth? You know what? I haven't seen this in so long. Or not this, but this channel. We got some. We're gonna throw in some film theory. He's got one about our boy Morbius from like a year ago. but I want to watch it because I haven't actually seen it before. And you know what? It's a nice little 16 minutes. Lets me eat some food we can watch as well. So let me get a rag to get a lot of this steam water out. Got a bunch of washcloths in my closet just in case I need them for situations like these. There we go. Also just lost all those napkins, but you know what it is, what it is. Alright, little placemat. Okay. And I also had a few tufts of hair. Let's see if we can get it. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Let's watch a little bit of film theory.
I can't believe I was the only person in the theater. Sony heard us. We wanted more, and they gave us more. Or should I say morb? You, sir, are you going to hashtag sweep into the next showing? They re-released Morbius because they knew it was and will always be morbid.
Dude, please stop saying Morbin time. Meme's dead. Look.
What are you reading?
Oh.
Yeah, it's dead.
Like, that wasn't even funny.
It's pretty bad.
Wanna get bagels?
Okay.
God, the whole thing with Morbius, bro. And then Madam Web, too. I already talked about Madam Web in another stream, but Morbius was a whole different thing. I honestly kind of liked Morbius. I think it did suffer in some points during the movie, but I thought it was okay.
Internet, welcome to Film Theory, the show that loves to sink its teeth into some juicy lore. Well, theorists, I don't know about you, but I've been to the movies a lot in the past couple months. It's almost like there was a 2-year backlog of big movies that were just waiting to roll out. Doctor Strange, Batman, Top Gun, Sonic, but few have risen to the heights of Morbius, the movie that truly brought cinema back from the brink. Audiences, critics, even Martin Scorsese loved it. It made $7 more billion at the box office, and pretty much everyone left theaters excited for Morbius 2, The Empire Bites Back. Honestly, it's just shocking that Sony decided to hang on to this masterpiece for over 2 years. The first trailer hit in January of 2020. How could they justify delaying this world-altering work of art for so long?
How confident are you that the coronavirus came from bats?
Probably 90% confident.
Oh,
God.
Yeah, that would do it. Okay, so for understandable reasons, Sony delayed Morbius. And then when they finally did release it, the movie was painfully mediocre. Let's fight somewhere empty. Cut to Morbius Theater. And when the memes making fun of this thing made it the most talked about movie in the world, Hollywood, not understanding internet sarcasm, re-released it into theaters. And it was then, and only then, that Morbius finally did become the best at something, bombing at the box office.
Oh my god. Did anybody go rewatch Morbius when it came out? Obviously, there's nobody in here right now, but like in the video VOD I put up of this, did anybody actually go and rewatch Morbius? I didn't. I only see the only time I've seen Morbius is the first time that I went to see it when it was first coming out back in 2022. I think I was on a college tour in a different state, and that's how I watched it. I think it was in North Carolina. We were checking out NC State, and I think we watched it down there. But that's the last time I watched it. It's been 2 years since I've seen it. I downloaded it. I have it on my computer. The government didn't hear that, by the way. If you're the government, you didn't hear that. But yeah, I haven't seen it since then, so I don't remember. I remember the general plot. I don't remember too much of it, though.
Doing it not just once, but twice. Anyway, it wasn't for any lack of trying. The trailer for this thing was everywhere. Sony clearly used the same marketing strategy that they used for the first Venom, creating an air of mystery as to if and how this film connected to the larger Marvel Cinematic Universe. Except this time, it was dialed up to 11. For Venom, Sony producer Amy Pascal just said that,
Well, those movies will all take place in the world that we are now creating for Peter Parker.
So there is a chance that Tom Holland will pop up somewhere.
Just a chance.
Just watch Kevin Feige's face in this thing slowly dying from the inside, knowing none of this is real. Anyway, for Morbius marketing.
Yeah. How's that going? They got fucking Madam Web basically completely writing Peter out. Which, hold on. Correct me if I'm wrong. Because I have not seen Madam Web. It takes place in 2003. Like, that's where the story is based around, or that's the time period. And she was working as a paramedic. The main character, I forget the actress's name, but the Madam Web. She was working with Uncle Ben as a paramedic in 2003. Which, if we're going off that, then I guess we're having to go with Tom Holland's Aunt May and Uncle Ben. But they also said that Uncle Ben's wife just got pregnant. So May got pregnant. And people were saying that it was supposed to be like a reference to, like, they didn't name drop Peter Parker specifically, but it was implied. And unless I am wrong somewhere, and I could definitely be, I haven't seen the movie, I haven't really looked into it at all, I'm just saying it now. But if that's true, where it's Uncle Ben worked with them as a paramedic and Aunt May was pregnant, wouldn't that be Peter's father or mother? Who, I don't know, I forget which side Uncle Ben and Aunt May are on. But wouldn't that just be his father or his mother? Peter's father or mother? Why do people think it is Peter? And I'm going to say it again. I haven't seen it. I'm only going off things I've heard. Why do people think it's actually Peter? And on the same note, Peter, I feel like doesn't feel like that doesn't make sense. Because the time period for all this doesn't make sense. Because here's the thing. It doesn't make sense. Like, if I'm correct in what I'm saying, then that would have to be Peter, because we would have to then move to where we are today in like 2020, or what was it, 2019. Peter Parker, like before or during Infinity War, Peter was only like, what, 15, or no, maybe like 16, 17 in universe, which means he would have to be born around 2003. So it could make sense, but then why is Aunt May the one birthing him? Again, unless I'm getting that wrong. Unless I'm just getting that wrong, which, if I am, sorry, I just wasted your time. But that doesn't make sense to me. That might be something I need to look up before I start. But you know what? We're gonna fucking look it up. We're gonna look it up. We're just gonna look it up. Where Madam Web, what was it? Uncle Ben kid? In Madam Web, Adam Scott plays a younger Ben Parker who seems to be dating May off screen. Okay, this guy looks like he's in his late 20s, early 30s, so what the fuck? Yeah, hold on. Here we go. He looks he looks like early 20 or like late 20s, early 30s. So it's definitely not like the older Uncle Bens we've had in the other two series. It could make sense with Tom Holland's, because he would be about 10 years younger, I guess. Or like, what, 15, 16 years younger? That which I guess that can make some sense. But like, okay. So there's that. And then does Ben and May, wait, what? Ben and May had never had children of their own, but after Richard and they became Peter's surrogate parents. Hold up, I'm fucking Hold on a second. Do I not understand Spider-Man lore? Oh my fucking god. Uncle Ben. What am I talking about? Oh my fucking god. I keep saying uncle and I'm like, I keep thinking grandpa. I don't know, like I kept thinking grandpa, not it is Uncle Ben and Aunt May. Oh my god. Okay. But then at the same time, who was the person who got pregnant? Pregnant woman. Because I've heard that it was Emma Roberts' mystery character. That's not at all who I was trying to look for. Huh? Things that made no sense in her mother's Amazon trip. Oh, this is all the stuff. I guess. Cassie's back. Yeah, dude. I'm not going to see Madam Web. Maybe I'll look at like a little review thing of it at some point on stream. Okay, whatever. Fuck it. Fuck it. I don't get it. I'm very confused.
Being really dialed up, hyping up the connections to Spider-Man, Venom, and the MCU. They even straight up name drop Venom in what is clearly the funniest joke ever put to celluloid.
Venom. I'm just kidding. It's Dr. Michael Morbius at your service.
Kidding, he's Michael Morbius, but he's pretending to. Oh, he's not Eddie Brock. Oh, it's so funny. And that's not all either. We also see a poster of Spider-Man labeled a murderer, clearly referencing the cliffhanger from Far From Home, except this isn't Tom Holland's web head, it's actually the Tobey Maguire costume from the PlayStation video game. Then there's a building with the Oscorp logo from Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man, with another shot focusing on the Maguire version of the Daily Bugle newspaper. Not only that, but two of the Bugle's headlines here tease the villains Rhino and Black Cat. Most obviously though, Michael Keaton pops up as Adrian Toomes, aka the Vulture from Homecoming, further teasing a direct connection to Tom Holland's version of the Wall Crawler.
What's up, Doc?
Honestly, all of this left theorists like me wondering how they were going to connect all these dots. But if you went into Morbius expecting any answers about the Easter eggs, too bad! Most of them aren't in the movie. No Spidey poster, no Oscorp, no Osborns. And all those hints and cameos might as well not have been in there either. The Daily Bugle newspaper was just a throwaway prop. Morbius's Venom joke strangely had its punchline cut, but not the reference to Venom. Most bafflingly, the Vulture's scenes from the trailer aren't in the movie. Instead, we get a different pair of intriguing post-credit scenes where Vulture spontaneously materializes in the Morbiverse and meets up with Jared Leto in a way that doesn't even follow the rules set up by the MCU.
Hope the food's better in this joint.
I'm not sure how I got here. Has to do with Spider-Man, I think.
Now, Morbius is hardly the first movie to have altered scenes.
Yeah, that made absolutely no sense. First off, how the hell would Vulture know that it's something to do with Spider-Man? How did he get his suit? Because there's no way he just built that shit within the week or two after he got there. It's God, it was just a bunch of shit. And then we're probably never going to see anything from Morbius ever again, at least for another 10 years probably. I don't see any Morbius sequel or reference happen unless maybe he gets brought into the next Spider-Man trilogy in some way, which could be possible. I could actually see that happening. But yeah, dude, what the fuck was that?
For the trailer. Marvel Studios is actually infamous for doing things exactly like this. They've altered shots of everything from Thor Ragnarok to Spider-Man No Way Home to Avengers Infinity War to hide spoilers. They've even fabricated shots that didn't appear in their movies, like this shot of Hulk running alongside the Avengers from Infinity War. But I think the difference here is that these shots were altered to hide major plot points. Sony, meanwhile, these were fundamentally manufactured scenes purely meant to build hype off of nothing. And if you were there specifically to see what came of the Easter eggs in the trailers, well, Well, it's entirely fair that you could feel lied to. And a lot of people here on YouTube, they were very vocal about feeling lied to.
The thing that generated the most hype for this movie at the end of the day is people going like, which universe does this take place in? It is manipulative.
Let's put like a Spider-Man poster in the background or something, and then we put that in the trailer. But it's not gonna make sense in the movie. Well, we don't have to put it in the movie. It kind of feels like false advertising. Yeah, let's do some of that.
Honestly, it kind of borders on false advertising.
Basically, it had people asking,
So why'd you do it?
I can't answer that.
and seeing all this discussion got me thinking, was the movie actually falsely advertised? Did Morbius break the law? Did they play a little too fast and loose with the trailers and misrepresent what was in the movie? And most importantly of all, could Sony be sued for that? So grab your blood bags and take a big ol' slurp, loyal theorists. Today we're about to find out. Also, just as a friendly reminder, none of this is meant to be actual legal advice. Kind of like this guy from Morbius.
I don't remember you ever finishing law school.
I didn't.
So first, let's talk about what exactly false advertising is. How is it legally defined? Like all laws, it varies from place to place. In the United States, advertising is regulated nationwide by the Federal Trade Commission, or the FTC, who prohibit, quote, unfair or deceptive acts or practices in or affecting commerce. False advertisement is, fittingly enough, exactly what it says on the tin. You can't run ads that outright lie and trick consumers into thinking your product is something that it isn't, or does something that it isn't meant to do. Makes sense, right? So let's break down the legalese piece by piece to see what applies to Morbius, shall we? Let's start with deceptive practices. Legally speaking, these are defined using 3 points: showing your product in a way that misleads the consumer's interpretation is reasonable, and the misleading information is withheld until the consumer has already made their purchase. If you want a clear-cut example of this, in 1996, Hasbro had to pay the FTC a fine of $280,000 because they used air-compressed paint guns to film this commercial for their Color Blaster toy instead of using the actual toy, which in turn created a deceptive representation of what the toy actually did. Now, this one seems like it might have some legs to stand on against Morbius, right? I mean, if you look at the trailers, it'd be pretty hard to argue that they're not deceptive. A representation that misleads? Check. The trailer has a vandalized Spider-Man poster directly implying a link to the events from Far From Home, and then the poster isn't present in the final product. Reasonable consumer interpretation? Check again. It's in the trailer, so it's reasonable to expect it to wind up in the final movie. Misleading information withheld until after purchase? Check one final time. You aren't gonna know these connections were cut or changed until after you buy a ticket to see the movie. So that is 3 for 3 across the board, which means that the studio execs should probably be shaking in their boots, right? Well,
Dude, have there been any other, like, I guess not movies, because I haven't heard of any other movies like this, but have there been any other, like, products like this? Like, okay, obviously there has, but, like, what are they? That's what I mean. Like, I don't even know. I can think of, like, some shit off Temu or something, where they're like, oh, yeah, look at this. Da-da-da-da-da, they got all this, and then it's like, it's shit. Do you know those, like, those Amazon fucking, like, HDMI hookup emulator things? Biggest fucking scam. Biggest fucking scam. They're like, oh yeah, you can play all these old games and shit, and then because I got one, my mom had got one, and she was like, oh yeah, your cousins are coming over, and I'm like, you know what, let me try this, and I'm like, okay. I go to set it up. It comes with a knockoff plate, like DualShock, I think it's a DualShock 2. It was like a knockoff DualShock 2, really shitty. Connected it. I go to play the games. First off, the games are fucking, half of them are in Japanese. Half of them aren't even like the English ROM, because they are ROMs. They just use ROMs, which means legally these are illegal. They are very illegal technically, because they, even though they are old games, they still ripped them off and didn't technically purchase it, and they're technically reselling the game for commercial use, but like illegally. Yeah, I'm not a lawyer, as you can tell, but I go to do that. All the game, like half the games are in Japanese, and then I go to play them. None of the buttons fucking work. None of the buttons actually work in the games, at least on the one that I got. Now, that could have been a faulty controller, could have been a faulty system, could have just been I got a shitty version, or we got a shitty version. But it was, oh my god, it was terrible. It was so shit. Oh my god. I hate those things. I literally, like, at that point, I have a laptop. I'll just download an emulator, get it, and I have, like, my Switch controller. It's a third party, so I can connect it to my fucking computer. And I'll just run it like that. Oh my god. Yeah. Ooh, hold on. Speaking of Temu. Hold up. Speaking of Temu, hold up. Give me a sec. I need to grab something. Got this off Temu. I first downloaded it because my mom has it, and then she was like, "Oh, you should like get it. You should try it out." And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, sure, fine. And I download it because I saw a code. And I found the code. I put it in, and it was one of those like you get 7 free things and then like 3 things on sale, and I'm like, all right, let's fucking go. One of the first things, bro, Ocarina of fucking Time, dude. and it fully works too. It's a fully working Ocarina of Time, and it came with a little really shitty stand, so I have to put it in a corner so it doesn't fall, because I don't know if it's not glass, but I feel like if I drop it, it's going to break. But like, Brody, I can't play the flute for shit, especially, and I can't play this, but like, I can't play for shit, but it's actually one of the things I thought about doing once I got back to college is like going out in like the middle of the night and just learning how to do this, and like use it to rap songs that have like a flute instrumental. I just think it's really cool. Bro, just go. I remember I was doing it at home because I was home alone when this came in, and I just went around the house for like a good hour just going. Just fucking around with it. And someone I was thinking about in the shower the other day. You can't be thinking about me in the shower. I can. But I'm like, you know what if I made this and I took this and I made a song out of it, and I actually made a beat. I've never been able to make a beat like personally by myself. So I'm like, you know what, why don't I do something with this, and I'll try making a song. So I don't know, maybe I'll stream it. Maybe for fun I'll stream it, but that's something I am interested in doing, is fucking putting this on, put it right next to the microphone. But like better. I'm not fucking making that into a song. That was shit. No, yeah, I definitely need to actually like find something better. Okay, enough tangents. I'm sorry. Back to the video.
What about the other half of the legal definition? Unfair practices is also defined by 3 key points. It's an act which can hurt consumers, it cannot be reasonably avoided, and it's not outweighed by any of the other benefits provided by the product or its competition. Again, if you'd like a clear-cut example of this, in 2019, the FTC sued Match.com for unfair practices. Match had notified their users that they'd caught the eye of a potential suitor, but many of the likes and messages that they used originated from accounts that they knew were likely fraudulent. This led to almost 500,000 people paying for subscriptions to see those likes and messages, and those subscriptions were often difficult to cancel. Basically, the FTC alleged that Match used the scammers on its site, which could be as high as 25 to 30% of their accounts, as marketing to sell subscriptions. It was unfair, it was hurtful, and there was no real benefit gained to the consumers. But how would any of this apply to Morbius? Well, it's a good question. This one's actually a bit more ambiguous than deceptive practices, so let's go through point by point. Did Morbius hurt consumers? Legally, probably not, but but sitting through that thing was pretty painful. Could you have reasonably avoided the deceptive Morbius trailers? Maybe. It's possible that you could have gone into Morbius blind, but Sony also spent a lot of money running their trailers on TV, in front of other movies, during YouTube videos for over 2 years. If you were watching pretty much any piece of pop culture since 2019, you likely saw this trailer, so for this criteria, I'd say probably guilty. Finally, did Morbius cause substantial injury to consumers without providing benefit? Again, it's a tricky question. You might have been lied to about the contents of the movie, but you still wound up with a movie. That is some level of benefit provided by the product. As for the level of harm, sure, at face value it's like a $10 ticket, but what if someone took a day off of work or hired a babysitter? Do those things qualify as substantial injury? Well, you might be surprised to hear that the answer could be yes. In 2014, the FTC settled a lawsuit with Red Bull after they were sued for falsely advertising that their drink could provide performance-enhancing benefits when there were no scientific studies to back that fact up. They were required to provide anyone who bought their product within a certain time range with either a $10 reimbursement or $15 in credit for other Red Bull products. So it's not like the FTC isn't willing to go after products that are relatively cheap, like say movie tickets. So, while definitely not as clear-cut as deceptive practices, seems like a case could also be made that Morbius engaged in unfair practices as well. In total, that winds up being about 4 to 5 points out of a possible 6 against Morbius. So I ask the question again, did Sony falsely advertise this movie? Well, there's certainly a lot of gray area. There is a very good argument that you could make that they did. But is it enough to get the studio in trouble? Could you sue Sony over the trailers for Morbius? And again, I stress, this is not legal advice, but yes, technically you could do that. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves, you can sue practically anyone over anything. The problem with doing that is just you're gonna lose a lot of those cases. But in the case of suing movie companies for movie trailers, you wouldn't be the first. In fact, a case is actually working its way through the court system right now. In January of this year, 2022, 2 men filed a class action lawsuit against Universal Pictures alleging that they'd both rented the film yesterday based on the brief appearance of actress Ana de Armas in the trailers. However, she wasn't actually in the movie, so now the men are seeking $5 million in damages.
Jesus. Okay, hold on. That's one thing. That pisses me off about humanity and people, mostly Americans, because Americans are the ones that do this mostly. You don't really hear a lot of British people doing that. Basically nowhere else. Maybe Australia, but you really don't hear it from there either. At least in America, we don't hear it. But fucking people who sue for pointless fucking shit. And I understand. You're just trying to go for the money. Get the fucking bag, dude. Like, sure. But it is so... But you're doing it, and it is you're fucking dumb. Like, people who genuinely do that go into it assuming that, oh yeah, they're just gonna settle. Because, like... Yeah. And also, $5 million fucking damages... Because, like, who the fuck are these people that they're just like, this one woman was in the trailer for, like, maybe a second and was not in the movie. My hard-on got soft so quickly at the end of the movie when I realized the woman of my dreams was not there. In fact, I got so soft that I lost my penis. So I am now seeking $5 million in damages. Like, get the fuck out of here. Who the fuck are you? The actress doesn't fucking know you. It's a random fucking movie. Okay, you rented it. Get your fucking money back for the movie. I'm just like, take it up with Amazon and just be like, hey, can we just get our fucking money back? Or something like that. Like a whole $5 million. Jesus. That's so fucking stupid. No, of course, you do need context for stuff. I remember I think it was a few years ago, or maybe like, it might have been early 2010s, but there was that woman who accidentally got like spilt coffee on herself from McDonald's, but it was like boiling hot. And I remember for like when I first heard it, I was like, Jesus Christ, some fucking old woman is just like, oh, coffee hurt. It's a little hot. And then I saw like a video on it like a year or two ago, and they were talking about like, oh no, she had to get like whole skin grafts and shit. And it was like 3rd degree burns or something, or maybe 1st degree, something like that. She had burns, like hardcore burns. And I was like, oh shit, I should shut my fucking mouth. but yeah, it's crazy. Like of course there's like, you need context. But for something like this, I can't see the context. I physically cannot see any possible way how this would be like make sense, and I could justify it and be like, oh yeah, no, this totally makes sense. This actress wasn't in the movie, like he got blue balls. He got so soft his dick fell off. Like come on. Obviously you need money for that.
Wow. Just to make this clear, De Armas appeared for like 13 seconds in one of yesterday's trailers, and now they want $5 million. Now, while De Armas did film scenes for yesterday, the subplot with her role was ultimately cut out of the finished film very late in the production process to help focus the story. Given the recency of this case, it's yet to be resolved, so sadly, we don't know if any precedent set by this case would affect things here, but
Hold up. That's right. It's a case. We're gonna go check out this case. Let's look this up. Let's see how much bullshit. Let's see if this bullshit is justified. Put the rice to the side. Put the food away for now. We need to check out our legal troubles. What is it? Court case for guys suing the movie yesterday. All right, here it is. A U.S. district judge has thrown out a $5 million lawsuit from 2 movie fans who accused Universal Studios of tricking people into watching yesterday by featuring Ana de Armas, who had been cut from the final movie in its film's trailer. Thank fucking God. Thank God that some judge was like, or whoever this judge was, bless your heart and soul. Because Jesus Christ, if we had like another really dumb judge, like in one of these court cases where it's like, you had to have gotten paid off, or like they're sucking your dick, or like sucking your pussy, whatever. Because like, what? There are some really stupid cases where like the people like actually like are shown as like, oh yeah, this side's guilty, yada yada. They get their money, and I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, what? Why do you think this? I don't care what. So like some of these don't even, or like at least a jury as well. Some juries are really fucking dumb. Like a jury of my peers, dude, my peers are fucking idiots. My peers don't know shit about the law. My peers are the one, or sometimes breaking the law intentionally. You think they, fucking God, dumb, just people. All right.
Even these guys weren't the first to bring forward this sort of lawsuit. In 2011, a woman sued the studio film district over the Ryan Gosling movie Drive, which she alleged was promoted as being similar to the Fast and Furious franchise. Basically, she thought the trailers made it look like a high-speed action driving film. However, the woman walked away from Drive thinking that it was neither fast nor furious enough, instead focusing primarily on slow-paced interpersonal drama. So there you have it, friends. There is legal precedent for suing.
Again, same thing, right there. Why the fuck? Wait, did that woman win? No. Roll this shit back. Did she win? No, roll it the fuck back. We need to check this. Court case for the movie Drive. Yeah, here we go. This Michigan resident is suing the distributor of the critically acclaimed Ryan Gosling thriller Drive, as well as the cinema she saw it in, because it was publicized as Fast and the Furious style, but it did not turn out to be like that. Oh my God. Anyway, a judge in Oklahoma, Michigan rejected plaintiff Sarah Deming's putative class action in March 2012, as there was no misrepresentations of material fact, even assuming the trailer contained subliminal what the fuck? Where did anti-Semitism come into this shit? Where did that come from? Okay. But yeah, like, thank God thank God there are judges out there that are smart. I will not comment on the justice system, as I do not want to do that. But at least there are some judges who are genuinely actually kind of smart, or at least smart enough to be able to do this. And I know I do not think all judges are idiots. I'm just saying some judges either are corrupt or they make super fucking terrible decisions, in my opinion. All right, back to the video. Back again.
Movie companies over what you perceive to be a misleading trailer. So is it Morbin time to call a lawyer? Well, probably not. And not because you'd be wrong, but rather because it's probably not worth your time. First of all, because there's such little precedent here, we have no idea how the FTC would rule regarding Morbius. According to the California-based Spencer law firm, there's already an expectation that footage in a trailer may or may not make it into a film because they're made so long before the final cut is solidified. They argue that it's not necessarily the job of a trailer to show exactly what's going to be in the movie, but rather the tone and feel of the movie. That's an argument that the FTC might find persuasive. Additionally, what little legal precedent there is for suing movie studios over their trailers wouldn't exactly be on your side. That woman who sued the studio behind Drive? Well, if you've ever watched Drive, you'll know that the woman isn't wrong about what the movie is. Drive isn't devoid of action, but it is very slow. And yet the case got dragged out in one form or another until 2018, when every judge presiding over it concluded that Drive did accurately advertise the amount of violence, action, and drama in the film. Now, that...
She went on with this until 2018? Unless the article we just read was wrong or it meant something else by 2012. She dragged this shit out till 2018? She was that pressed about the fucking movie? Dude, at that point, she might as well have fucking, like, seen Ryan Gosling and argued with him about this shit. The dedication of some of these people to get the fucking bag. Astounding.
Lawsuit was focused on the movie's tone rather than any misleading content removed from the trailers, so there may be more of a leg to stand on here to sue Morbius, but perhaps the biggest question of all is whether the FTC would care in the first place. You see, last year on our sister location Game Theory, we covered the onslaught of misleading and false advertisements in the mobile gaming space, where we saw that the FTC tends to look especially closely at advertising claims that affect consumers' health and their pocketbooks. We basically concluded that, while yes, these games were falsely advertised, the FTC has far bigger fish to fry. For Morbius, maybe you spent $15 or $20 on the ticket. That lawsuit against Match.com, meanwhile, some of those unfairly advertised subscriptions were costing people hundreds of dollars. As for that Color Blaster toy we mentioned, sure, the toy itself wasn't super expensive, but the FTC is especially concerned with advertisements aimed at kids. They require that these sorts of commercials aimed at children have clear delineation between what the toy can really do versus the fantasy of the advertisement. Meanwhile, advertisements aimed at adults or older kids like the PG-13 audience of Morbius, well, the FTC doesn't seem to think that companies need to treat their...
I will say, ads aimed at kids for, like, toys and stuff, kids are fucking stupid. Like, kids can, and most likely are, genuine fucking idiots when it comes to advertisements. So I feel like even though you can make an ad that is, like, super genuine and fucking, like, not even, like, trying to really, like, do that, like, some kids are dumb. Like, I remember back when Power Rangers Super Mega Force was coming out, I think this, I don't remember, whenever it was, like, first releasing, they had little toys. And I swear, I could be thinking about it wrong. I might be thinking about it wrong. This might not be real, but like, I'm like 80-90% sure. I remember seeing an ad where they had like the pirate morpher thing, and you had those keys, and you would use them, and then in the ad they would fucking turn in they morphed, and I genuinely thought for like a bit, I'm like, holy shit, I can actually morph. I can fucking morph. I was a dumbass kid. I was a bit of a dumbass kid. After a while, I thought especially after I got the toy, I'm like, okay, I can't fucking morph, obviously. But like, but like in that same sense, kids can be fucking idiots and think, oh yeah, this toy can do this just because it was in the ad. Dinosaurs are real. They were in an ad. So like kids believe shit in movies sometimes. Guy, I saw Jurassic Park, guys. I saw Jurassic Park. I saw Chris Pratt. He really did that. Guys, he really did the who. He really did the wait right there, sir. He really did that, guys. No, he really did that. Yeah, no, some kids can be idiots. So I think some advertisements it's touchy. It's touchy.
Consumers like idiots, and they've thrown out several cases based on the idea that reasonable consumers should be able to figure some of this stuff out. Like here, is this all butter loaf cake misleading because it wasn't made entirely from butter? Well, no, according to the FTC. People should know better, especially when all the ingredients are also listed on the packaging. Instead, they tend to focus on bigger falsehoods, like Volkswagen claiming that their diesel cars are environmentally friendly. In that case, the FTC required Volkswagen to pay up to $14.7 billion in buybacks, lease terminations, and vehicle modifications for affected customers. If the FTC were to find Sony guilty and force them to do similar refunds for Morbius, a movie that bombed at the box office twice in less than 2 months, it would be for about 1% of what they mandated for Volkswagen. And even then, it's entirely possible that the FTC would settle with Sony for an amount far lower than the $73 million the movie made in the US and Canada. The case that the FTC brought against Red Bull, for example, that one was settled for a total of just $13 million, and that was supposed to account for anyone in America that bought a Red Bull in the 12-year period between 2002 and 2014. And even then, actually getting the money back...
That's not enough money, right? I mean, what he said 13 million? 13 million for 12 years. And pulling out a calculator. We're pulling out a calculator. Boom, calculator. 12 years. Shut up. We have 13 million. Let's divide that by 12 years. That means about $1 million per year. That means about $1 million per year. We'll even do 13 years. So it's about $1 million per year. So somewhere around $1 million per year. Each one costs $10. That means only like 100,000 people are actually getting their money back. I mean, that's not too terrible now that I think about it. But at the same time, there's like, 130 million people in America alone. 100,000 people is jack shit. And I'm pretty sure Red Bull's got millions of people drinking it, or at least buying the cases and stuff. So I feel like 100,000 is like a drop in the fucking bucket.
Might not even happen. Just this year, in March of 2022, a judge ruled that Match.com didn't have to pay $844 million of what the FTC sought in their lawsuit against them because of a legal loophole. They reasoned that Match.com was only publishing the misleading third-party content instead of actually generating it themselves. Now, obviously, none of the cases we've talked about here line up one-to-one with Morbius, even the lawsuits about movie trailers. The specifics of how a suit against Morbius would go down, how much money Sony would have to refund even if they were found guilty in the first place, are all up in the air. We just don't know because there isn't that much legal precedent for this sort of a case. But the point here is that this thing would be a labyrinthine legal nightmare, and that's before you even attempt to educate an elderly judge about the multiversal implications of Spider-Man No Way Home. Can you imagine? I'd like to present to the court the following piece of evidence. Spider-Man killing Mysterio. But he doesn't really kill Mysterio. It was actually caused by illusion drones, but everyone thinks he killed Mysterio, which is why everyone calls him a murderer and why those posters in the trailer for Morbius matter so much. And that's also why Doctor Strange opens up the multiverse to erase everyone's memories, which is how you get that Venom joke and also why Vulture are there, but it's not actually following the official MCU.
Well, the Venom joke, the Venom joke still stands because it is supposed to be in the Sonyverse, and unless I'm getting the time mixed up between the two movies, like Morbius is after Venom, so Venom would at least be known of, right? I feel like that Venom joke could still stand because Venom would at least be known of. They are in the same universe, so I feel like that one could still stand.
rules, and I went into this movie expecting it to be the official MCU rules. Clearly, you see why I was misled. I rest my case, and I rest my theory. My film theory.
All right. We love film theory. We love film theory. And I basically finished my food, which is good. That was the point of this. That was the whole point of this. Food to the side for now. I'll clean that up later. And 2 Oreos for dessert. Oops, shit. Oh. Okay. I will be right back. I need to use the bathroom real quick. As soon as we get back, Mario RPG. We're starting it back up.